Good evening. I want to welcome you and call to order this meeting of the Floresville ISD Board of Trustees for this date, November the 11th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Let the record show that there is a quorum of board members present. Myself, Joel Odom, Mrs. Liana Martinez, Mr. Jason Savoda, Ms. Mona Reed, Mr. Stephen Shadrach, Mr. Marshall Fleer, Mr. Craig Moots. Furthermore, let the record show that this meeting has been duly posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Mr. Zavoda will now lead us in prayer. If you'll stand with us, and that will be followed by Ms. Martinez as she leads us in the pledges.
Let's bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day of life and remembrance of our brothers and sisters who have bravely served our country to protect us. I also ask you to be with those future soldiers who will be joining our armed forces to continue to protect our country. Lord, we pray that be with our students' hearts to guide them in making good decisions each and every day of their lives. We also ask to be with us this evening with the board, administration, and special guest here tonight, that you help us guide us in making the best possible decisions for our schools and our students. Lord, I also ask you to be with us tonight on our journeys home and keep us safe. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I will now recite our FISD vision and mission statement. The FISD vision statement is character, knowledge, confidence. Our mission statement is FISD is committed to the development of innovative, lifelong learners who possess character traits to achieve personal and professional success. Now Ms. Reed will state our FISD goals.
The FISD goals are excellent student outcomes, superior workplace environment, exceptional customer service and community engagement, strategic resource management.
We will now do a round robin of the reciting of the board's FISD core beliefs. Our FISD core beliefs are: in FISD, all students feel safe and supported in a developmentally and academically challenging environment.
Families are welcome partners in their children's education.
Faculty and staff are compassionate, dedicated, adaptable individuals who are student-centered.
Campus leadership is fair, equitable, and clearly communicates and engages with stakeholders.
Superintendent and central administration lead with integrity, transparency, and clear communication to provide a well-resourced educational environment.
Trustees provide student-centered and fiscally responsible leadership and transparent and ethical support of all stakeholders.
Now Mr. Shadrach will recite our overview of good governance and code of ethics.
Each month we highlight one of the good governance indicators and code of ethics that the FISD Board of Trustees follow to promote the best interest of the district as a whole. This month, the code of ethics we are highlighting honor in code. I will tell the truth. I will share my views while working for the consensus. I will respect the majority decision as a decision of the board. I will base my decisions on fact rather than supposition, opinion, or public favor. Our good governance indicator for the month is the board has a written plan for a review and measurement of board advocacy for the district, within the community, and with our governmental entities.
All right, now we will have some recognitions for Floresville ISD's Students and Teacher of the Month. Dr. Gilstrap.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Odom. I want to go ahead and call Mr. Riley to the podium. Mr. Riley is principal at Floresville Middle School, and he has a couple of students and a teacher we want to recognize.
Chance, come down. Could you proceed? Would you know what, sir? Good evening. Unfortunately, one of the students I want to recognize, an excellent young lady by the name of Destiny Vallejo, had some last-minute family commitments, and so she's not able to join us this evening, but trust me, she is a very worthy recipient of this award. Our other student of the month, however, is here. I'd like to introduce you to Chance Fletcher. Chance is an 8th grader at Floresville Middle School. This is his 4th year in Floresville ISD. He attended Floresville North Elementary as a 5th grader. He has an older sister, Berkeley, who is a senior at Floresville High School. And Chance is an exceptional student. He is consistently on the A/B honor roll. And this year he has maintained a straight A average in all of his classes while taking Honors U.S. History, Honors English Language Arts, Honors Science, and Algebra 1. His favorite subject is math. He says it just seems to be at a higher level and he likes being able to apply what he learns. In addition to his core classes, Chance is extremely active in athletics and in band, where he plays both the trombone and percussion, but not at the same time. Not at the same time, right? He is a proven leader on our campus, presenting the morning announcements over our PA system every day, and he acts as a senior member of our campus flag corps, making sure that the colors are flying appropriately each day. Chance is looking forward to multidisciplinary studies at the high school because he wants to explore the different clusters that are available. He plans to pursue a college scholarship in academics or 4-H as a backup plan. But his primary goal is to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy and pursue a degree in either music theory or aeronautics and become an Air Force pilot. After the Air Force, Chance would like to become a band director for his school. The most important thing Chance wants you to know about him is that he likes to hunt. In fact, he recently went pheasant hunting in South Dakota. And he is, by using his own words here, big into music. He also says that he always tries to excel. I am also privileged to present to you our Teacher of the Month for Floresville Middle School, Mr. Mario Garcia. Mario is currently in his 4th year as a 6th grade English Language Arts teacher at Floresville Middle School. He came to us from Kennedy ISD, where he had been teaching for 3 years. Mr. Garcia is part of a teaching dynasty at Floresville Middle School. His mother, who's right back there, is Sarah Garcia. She's the instructional facilitator for English Language Arts on our campus, and his sister, Miranda Garcia, teaches career and college exploration and coaches girls sports. Mr. Garcia has a degree in mass communication from Texas State University. After college, he started substituting and fell in love with teaching. His mother told him he would be a good teacher, and he says he hates to admit it, but she was right. His students say they love Mr. Garcia because he understands what they need help with, and he goes out of his way to help them. Several students wanted to add that Mr. Garcia's class is good because he is so funny. Mr. Garcia is an aspiring writer of young adult fiction, and we look forward to adding his first novel to our campus library. Mr. Garcia is a fabulous English teacher. He says that his goal is that his students learn to appreciate what stories have to offer them. And the most important thing he wants people to know about him is he is always working to grow himself and to help his students grow. And most importantly, he will never give up on anybody.
Mr. Garcia, I just want to tell you congratulations on Teacher of the Month. Thank you for everything you do. I know you're a direct reflection. I know my son talks highly about you, having you in class. He loves you. Thank you for your dedication to our students. And I like that you not only push yourself to grow, but you're pushing your students to grow. So thank you for everything you do. Chance, for one, congrats being Student of the Month. Congrats on not only doing your honors classes and academics, but competing with athletics, doing band. Congratulations on that. And, you know, I'm a proud member of the Air Force. Everybody here will tell you I've been in 18 years come this December. So keep pushing towards your goals and stay with it and you'll get there.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia.
Come on up here, James. I'll take a picture now.
You're nervous to write over.
Oh, I'm in.
One, two, three. One more. One, two.
Anybody else? None? James? Congratulations. Congratulations. You don't mind shaking with you?
Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Jason, he's gonna have to shave his head.
They can do that.
Yeah, they can make him shave his head.
Three of us.
Mr.
Steve, thank you so much.
Be ready to be bald like me.
Next, we will have a Community of Character Award. Mr. Ramirez, would you please come forward?
Howdy, y'all.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilshot, members of the board. I would like to present the Community of Character Award to one of our security officers here at our Floresville Independent School District, specifically our high school, right around the corner. So here I want to go ahead and share with you some of this, what happened on this very fateful day. On October 17th of 2024, the Transportation Office received a call for immediate assistance concerning a middle school bus. A student named Harley Lenz was in urgent need of help after choking on an apple while departing from Floresville Middle School. The bus attendant and driver promptly assessed the situation and requested the assistance of Paul Villarreal, his name to my right, who was close in proximity, so was able to offer aid immediately. Paul Villarreal quickly boarded the bus and administered abdominal thrust, commonly known as the Heimlich maneuver, until a piece of apple was successfully dislodged from Hartley's throat. His prompt intervention was crucial in responding to the necessary aid to save her life. Paul Villarreal's exemplary action not only preserved a young life, but also highlighted his commitment to the students, staff, the district, and the broader community. We extend our grateful gratitude to Mr. Villarreal for his decisive and timely response in the crucial moments of need.
Polly, we just want to tell you we appreciate everything you do. I mean, the students love you, we all love you, but what you did that day shows how much you care about our staff, our students. You're committed to our community, and thank you again. I mean, thank yous ain't enough for saving somebody's life, but just thank you for everything you do over there. We really appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Polly, for being the example of the character that we expect among our staff and our community. So thank you very much for that.
You know what I'd even do is that and step into that role. You did a great job. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you. I don't believe so.
Now we will have the 2024 Chevron Tractor Restoration Contest National Grand Champion. Mr. Billings, would you please come forward?
Good evening. He's kind of the star of the show, but I'll just give you a touch of what the contest is so everybody knows. It's a restoration contest. We've been restoring tractors here in Floresville for a long time. This contest is one where students have to put together a record book, a video of the tractor operating, and you send it off to Chevron. They have a panel of judges from across the U.S. to look at them. They evaluate it, and they invite the top 12 to come to Indianapolis, and they have a face-to-face panel kind of like this. And he put on a 20-minute presentation going through what he did to the equipment, and then they fire questions. And the questions are laid out supposed to be 15 minutes, but he was in there over an hour. So it was a big tractor. We've never done anything that big. I really don't care to ever do anything that big again. But it was a great learning experience. I learned a lot. He learned a whole lot. And so thank y'all very much for allowing us to go compete in these different contests. We appreciate y'all's support.
So we got the picture of the tractor up there on the screen. What year is that and what model is it?
It's a 1980 John Deere 4440.
Looks like a cab. One of those cabs. Man, unbelievable.
The cab is like a tractor in itself, like just to go through all that is
I
a
can
go.
only imagine.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, I know last year we walked through down there, and I know you've been here before, but now you got the top prize, so can't say congratulations enough. But I saw that tractor in pieces last year when you were going through bolt by bolt, and I know you know every bolt, every little screw, what goes in that tractor, every wire, because it was in pieces last year when I saw it. And the passion you have for doing that, the knowledge you have for that, you've taken that to another level. You'll always have a job. Just trust me. I'll hire you any day. And I'll buy that tractor from you too. But we can't say enough. I mean, to go to the national level like you did and win the top prize, that is just, I can't say enough. Congratulations. That's an awesome, awesome job.
Thank you for representing Floresville ISD. You too. Proud dad and proud teacher.
1, 2, 3. 1 more. 1, 2.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
Proud
I'm
dad.
very happy for y'all.
Pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Our last recognition is for the boys and girls cross-country state qualifiers. Coach Martinez, would you please come?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Pastor Joel and Board of Trustees. I'm really excited to be able to recognize our cross-country teams.
Come on up here, Coach. Come up here. Let's go.
I'll start by recognizing our coaching staff. Two of the hardest working coaches we have on staff. They're there early, they stay late. They do a tremendous job with our kids and our program. I'm really excited that I get a front row seat to watch them train every day because we practice in the morning and they do too. And sometimes I wonder if we're working harder than they are because I've seen cross-country kids do bear crawls too. So, but anyways, really proud of Coach Rod and Coach Albrecht and what they were able to accomplish. And I'll turn it over to them to recognize their kids. Coach, congratulations.
Come on up here, kid.
I'll call them up to get their certificates, and then I'll talk a little bit about them. So we had Jack Zarowski, sophomore. Kelly Wing, freshman. Alexis Dahey, freshman. Nora Falon, junior. Alexis Scott, sophomore. Adonai Solis, senior. Isabella Garza, senior. Juliana Garza, freshman. Aiden Seifert, freshman. Riley Silva, freshman. Ricky Barajas, junior. Joshua Simmons, junior. Caden Fennell Kinney, senior. And then we had two who weren't able to attend, Slade Paul, freshman, and Isaiah Cruz, also a junior. So both of our teams, guys and girls, were able to compete and qualify at the state meet, which is incredible. You know, it's very hard to do just one team, one gender, so to do both in the same year for the first time ever for school history is an accomplishment in itself. This is the second year in a row for the guys. Last year was the first year they ever made it, and this is the second. And this is the first year for the girls, which again is incredible because I think we lost one of the best girls last year that ever has competed for Floresville, which is Alyssa. And our girls kind of one-upped it and said we can still do better. So this is just kind of a testament to show what happens when everything is just moving in the same direction. You know,
the buy-in from the kids, the buy-in from the parents, the buy-in from the community, the coaching staff, all of our supervisors, everyone above us. This is what happens when everyone buys in. We get to have this type of success. And I love it that the kids have the moment, but this is also a moment for the parents too. You know, our parents do so much for these kids and bring them every morning. And the fact that I know every single one of them on a name-to-name basis and that I can ask them for anything, again, shows why we are so successful. So these guys did amazing this season. They were both first in district. The guys were third at regionals. The girls were fourth at regionals. And then both were 14th in the state of Texas out of over 200 schools that compete for cross country. So they did an awesome job this season, and couldn't be more prouder of them. As I said, me and Coach Albrecht, I said, we're amazed at what they can do. We love this group. It's a very young group. Like I said, we only have 3 seniors, and everyone else is returning. So we can't wait to see what happens this track season because we're definitely not done yet. So awesome job with these kids.
Wow, I just want to say congratulations. I know that this is something that usually starts in the wee hours of the morning, probably when I'm still asleep. What time do they get up and are they there?
They're there at 6:30. It's not too early.
Yeah, I've been awake for about 30 minutes. You know, the endurance and the stamina that it takes, the commitment and dedication to, you know, to do that willingly and go forward and do that run and then to break barriers and make history. You know, you guys, last year was the first year and here you are on a roll just keeping and maintaining that success that you experienced. Girls, congratulations on, you know, first year's qualifiers, and we just want you to keep moving and keep that dedication. We're very proud of you and the commitment it takes to balance your schoolwork with your athletic program as well. So congratulations, we're very proud of you.
Congratulations. Let's get a big picture. Coaches, you two, probably going to have to get in 2 rows. Ms. Martinez can get us lined up.
If we can have the taller kids to the side.
Taller kids, that's okay, Ricky.
Otherwise we won't see. Thank you. Perfect. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take another one. 1, 2.
Parents, you are more than welcome to come up here and get in the center. You don't have to do it from back there. All right, thank y'all very much. Y'all don't mind shaking the board's hand? Appreciate y'all. See you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, parents. Thank you.
Just you by yourself now.
Come on down.
No, the principal was coming.
So, board members, if you don't mind, I'm going to have Mr. Riley come back up. Our student of the month, our other student of the month was able to make it, so we want to go ahead and recognize her. Good.
I am very excited to be able to actually finish introducing you to Destiny Vallejo. Destiny is an 8th grader at Floresville Middle School. She's been a Floresville student since kindergarten, and she attended both Floresville North and Floresville South Elementary School. Destiny is the oldest of 4 children. Her sister Serenity is the 7th grader at FMS, and her brother Michael is a 6th grader at FMS, so they got all the grades covered. Her youngest brother Gabriel is 2nd grader at Floresville South Elementary. Destiny takes her schoolwork very seriously. She is an AB student this year, and her favorite classes are art and reading. Art because it allows her to express her emotions and creativity on paper, and reading because she loves how an author can take her to a different world. In addition to being an exceptional student, Destiny demonstrates exceptional character. She is quick in smile and is eager to befriend people. Her maturity and character were the primary factors in her selection to be an office aide in our front office representing the campus this year. Destiny says she looks forward to participating in the culinary arts program since she was in 5th grade. Her goals are to attend community college and obtain a scholarship to a culinary university in Austin to pursue her desired career as a baker. Destiny says the most important thing people need to know about her is that she won't judge people. And she asked me to share how honored she is to be here and receive this recognition. Congratulations.
Destiny, congratulations on being Student of the Month. Keep being kind-hearted and helpful like you have been with the other students. Keep pushing, keep your academics up. The culinary, don't go to Dr. Odom. He won't share with the rest of us.
That's correct.
Yeah, but congratulations and thank you.
If you need taste testers, we're always ready.
Yeah.
Come on up here. We'll go ahead and take pictures. Dr. Odom,
Selfish with the taste test.
I'm not very good at that.
Come on up here, Mom. Come on up here. Let Mom take a picture.
Thank you.
Don't mind shaking their hand. Be great. Congratulations. Thank you. We always do. Congratulations.
Congratulations again.
Thank you for bringing her.
All right, for those of you who would like to leave at this point, you can. And we appreciate you a part of what we are doing. We love to recognize our students and our teachers and our staff because we love them. And we appreciate every one of them and all their accomplishments. Ms. Petrie, do we have any public comments? All right. We will now continue with our reports and updates. Dr. Gilstrap will now give the superintendent report.
Yes, Dr. Odom, board members, included in your packet is the superintendent's report. One thing I do want to add, today we did have our Veterans Day ceremony at the high school. I want to thank the ROTC, Air Force ROTC students for their outstanding job in putting that on and getting it all together. We also had students that were there for the flower decorations that were there, also the videography that was there, what was done by our CTE department. So obviously our Mighty Tiger Band performed, played a couple of songs. Taps was played beautifully by one of our students. So it was just an awesome day of recognition for our veterans, those that have served and those that continue to serve. I also want to just briefly thank Mr. Fleer for his commitment and service. Mr. Fleer, thank you, sir, very much for that. I had a grandfather come up to me afterwards. He was not a veteran, but he was there to watch his grandson in the ROTC. And the grandfather came from out of state and was telling me that in other states where he was coming from, they don't do anything like that. In fact, he had shown up and seen some people on campus that were in military dress, and they were not well received. And so I told him, this is how we're going to do it in Floresville. And as long as I'm sitting in this seat, we'll continue to recognize our veterans and our military. And he was very appreciative of the way we were recognizing them and having that ceremony. So thank you to the community and all those involved. The Mighty Tiger Band will be advancing to state competition. That'll be on Wednesday the 13th. That's this week. They're going to perform at the Alamo Dome at 1:30 in the afternoon. This is their third year in a row to compete at the state level, which is an awesome accomplishment. They've got a fantastic show, and if you're able to see it, it is a great one to see. I know that they'll represent us and our community with pride. We did recognize them after the football game. They had a final performance on the field, and so that was really, our community was very receptive to that. I know our parents appreciated it, getting to see their kids march out there, because a lot of times those band parents are in there working the concession stand, because the booster clubs run their concession stand, so they usually don't get to see the halftime show. So they enjoyed that, and we will be recognizing them in a future board meeting. The volleyball Lady Jaguar volleyball team will be competing on Tuesday in regional semifinal action versus Cal Allen. That's going to be at 6 o'clock on Tuesday in Three Rivers. And obviously, they've got a great thing going this year. They're going to make a deep run in the playoffs, and they're already at the regional semifinal level, looking to advance to the regional finals this year. Also, I did not add this in here, but we do have our JAG Classic basketball tournament will be this weekend. So the ladies will be playing a basketball tournament. It's a big one, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you have an opportunity, I encourage you to come out and watch a little basketball. You may have noticed that canvassing of the election was removed from the agenda this evening. The Wilson County Election Office indicated there were some outstanding provisional ballots as well as mail-in ballots, which could be counted up until tomorrow on Tuesday if they're received. We will receive the final counts on Wednesday, and we plan to have actually we've already posted a special meeting to canvass that election at 6 o'clock Wednesday evening. So if you're able to be here, we have to have 2 members of the board in order to canvass, but we want to post it and have it open for anybody to come. But we'd like to have all 7 of you if you're here. We'd love to have it. At the regular December board meeting is when we'll swear in any new board members. So that'll be in December. The second facility task force meeting was held this past month with approximately 20 people in attendance. The group heard a presentation from Samco Financial, which is our bond counsel we have used in the past. They heard that regarding bond capacity and how it would affect our potential tax rate if we were to go in that direction. The group also made progress with Sledge Engineering to prioritize potential projects. So that continues to come into focus. I know Wilson County News ran an article about that. We've also got information on our website with a little more detail about what all took place in the second facility task force meeting. Our third one is scheduled for this Thursday, the 14th at 6 o'clock in the middle school cafeteria. So we look forward to getting a few more people out there. We've sent out some more emails and obviously put it in the paper, so we want to make sure the public knows what's going on as we continue through that process. Region 20 conducted a surprise intruder detection audit at the middle school as well as South Elementary since our last board meeting. I think one was last month and one was this month. There were no findings at either campus, so I want to make sure we thank and recognize our administrators for implementing our protocols and practices and making sure that we have all of our doors secured. That's classroom doors as well as exterior doors. So thank you, administrators, for continuing to do that. All campuses will be audited at some point in time throughout the year, but they're surprise audits, so we never know when they're coming. I also want to take an opportunity to introduce a new police officer that joined the FISD Police Department, Officer Alberto Sanchez. You want to step out here and wave your hand. Officer Sanchez is coming to us with 15 years experience in the city and the county levels. He's also a certified field training officer. He holds an advanced level certification. He's also trained in school enforcement, correct? Or excuse me, the first alert training. There we go, alert training. Keep wanting to call it first alert training. This does bring our police department to fully staffed. We now have an officer, an FISD officer on every campus, and including 2 at the high school. So Officer Sanchez, welcome aboard. Thank you for being here. All right. The board received an update on the current 5x5 master schedule at the last month's board meeting. While some students and teachers are experiencing some success, others are struggling with the pace of the learning as well as the extended class time per period. We plan to make a recommendation at the December board meeting to shift to a traditional bell schedule for the next school year. So that would not be January, that would be the 25-26 school year. We may be asking for board approval to get that done. The 5x5 is an innovative schedule, and it's a great idea. However, just like any other great ideas, we have to analyze and step back. Are we meeting our goals? Are we meeting our needs? In this case, we're not. Some of our students are struggling in that, so we need to evaluate and make some decisions to go away from it if we need to. Enrollment attendance data is presented here. This was as of the last Friday in October, so actually technically that's our snapshot date according to TEA. You'll see our enrollment is at 40, or was at 4064. This past week we actually pushed over to 470, so we continue to get a little bit of enrollment. And our attendance rate year to date is holding above 94 at 94.45. Also included a couple of graphs in there as we track these things, enrollment compared to the last 2 years. As well as our attendance. We're going to start presenting that to you on a monthly basis. So we are running above where we were last year in our attendance rates as well. Just a couple of reminders listed there. We have the state marching band contest, a special meeting this week. The South Elementary Fall Festival is going to be the 20th at 5 o'clock. Is that correct, Dr. Sluter? So we encourage you to come out and do that. Obviously, Thanksgiving break, the district's going to be closed that week. And then we have our regular meeting on December the 2nd. That is as soon as we come back. That's the Monday we come back from Thanksgiving break. So just a reminder about that.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gilstrap. Now Dr. Wade will give a report on the District Improvement Plan formative review.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, and board members. Tonight I'll provide you a short update on the status of the strategies in our district improvement plan. If I can do this correctly. There we go. The formative review was held in October with our district leadership team, and it included a review of the progress on all 4 of our goals. I will be providing you with just a summary, but you do have the detailed report in your packet if you would like to look at that. As a reminder, the District Improvement Plan encompasses the entirety of our strategic plan. So as we review our District Improvement Plan, or what we call our DIP, we are also reviewing our strategic plan. Goal 1 is excellent student outcomes, and this goal has 4 objectives and 18 strategies, and we have made some progress on all 18. In the area of academic growth, I'm excited to announce that Olivia Bailey, one of our staff members, is the certified cohort leader for the Texas Reading Academies. So we are able to offer that 10-day training and coaching at no cost to the district other than the staff members' cost, saving us approximately $30,000 this year. Wow. The district has also provided math training at every level at the campus in September, and campuses have reviewed their math and reading screener data, which we do 3 times a year, to determine any needed interventions for students. In the area of student safety and well-being, all new staff were trained on Capturing Kids' Hearts, which is our Tier 1 behavior support, and each campus has implemented an attendance incentive to improve attendance. Random drug testing began in September, and we've conducted behavior training over the summer, at the beginning of the year, and most recently, just a week or so ago, with our paraprofessional staff. In the area of being future ready, our CTE program is developing a new program of study in the business, marketing, and finance area, and our multi-tier systems of support plans are being refined at each campus. In the area of innovative and personalized learning, we connected our professional learning community process with our Floresville ISD learning experience with our beginning year training, and teachers are getting ongoing monthly newsletters to support that implementation. Our GT program is being reviewed to make any needed adjustments, and we're working on a new memorandum of understanding with some potential community colleges. Currently use Coastal Bend, but Palo Alto College and St. Philip's College to partner with us for early college high school next school year. So we've begun a process of looking at some specific data for each of the goals, and so I thought I would share that with the board. This is not all the data, just a small piece. So some of the data elements for Goal 1 include monitoring your Discipline referrals, which you'll see is down to 508 from the same time last year of 675. So we've had some improvement in that area. Student attendance, I think as Dr. Gilstrap shared, has increased to 94.67 from a 92.57. And we also track engagement of students in classrooms when we do walkthroughs, and that engagement factor has increased to 71% from last year. In the area of academic performance, we are monitoring the MEETS level of performance for students, and this is a summary. Let's see if I can, this is gonna work, there we go. This is a summary of grades 3 through 8, RLA Math, English 1 and 2 at the high school, and Algebra 1. So it's a little bit challenging, especially this early in the year, to look at some data, but we looked at the first number that you'll have there, right here, this area, is a summary of all the unit assessments. Sometimes unit assessments are not as aligned as we'd like them to be, but that is something the campus and the principals are working on, is making sure they're aligned to their rigor of the state standards. So we've seen an improvement from 41 to 45, 43 to 63, and 28 to 58. We also, with the screener data I just mentioned, that's the second number up here. That is a standards-based assessment across the nation, but it's aligned to our STAR test, and so there's an improvement in those areas as well. Again, this is early data, and I do want to say the high school just got their December interim test that they completed earlier this month, and in every area except for U.S. history, they were significant points above where they were last year. U.S. history was down 1 point, but it only went down to 82. So I felt like that wasn't too bad. So we've seen some improvements in the area of student achievement. Our second goal is superior workplace environment. Sorry, I'm trying to page too quick. This goal has 3 objectives and 6 strategies, and we've made some progress on all 6. In the area of continuous learning and support for staff, we revamped our new teacher learning academy, and we are providing more individualized support on each campus. And the instructional coaches have identified specific teachers for in-depth coaching cycles. We have also, as I mentioned earlier, connected the lesson planning design process with our professional learning communities. In the area of staff safety and well-being, we've conducted Raptor training as well as the required beginning of year safety training for all staff. In the area of staff engagement and satisfaction, we had a successful vendor fair at the beginning of the year at our convocation, and we continue to provide opportunities for staff to provide input on various committees. The data that we're looking at for goal 2 is teacher attendance. Dr. Gilstrap shared something about student attendance, but the teacher attendance, as you can see, so far in quarter 1 is at 96.3% compared to last year's 94.3%. Goal 3 is exceptional customer service and community engagement. If I can get my clicker to right. This goal has 3 objectives and 5 strategies, and again, we've made some progress on all 5. In the area of student engagement and satisfaction, I mentioned the attendance incentives to help increase attendance on all campuses, and the Superintendent Student Council has begun to meet to provide input. In the area of family engagement and satisfaction, we have a variety of district and campus newsletters that are going out to inform staff, including an updated family services newsletter. In the area of community partnerships, our business partners have begun to participate in our CTE advisory committees. Some of the data we're looking at for goal 3 include student attendance, as I just mentioned, as well as just that community engagement with the average website downloads. So this is really exciting that as a first quarter, 30,420 downloads compared to the same time last year of 24,536. So we're engaging more of our community with those websites and social media. Goal 4 is strategic resource management. This goal has 4 objectives and 6 strategies, and we've made some progress on all 6. In the area of strategic and transparent allocation of resource, you're going to hear a little bit about first rating and the unqualified audit, which you heard earlier this year for 23-24. For systematic facility management and planning for growth, The preventative maintenance plan has been updated. I'm going to share a little bit data about maintenance work orders in a minute. And as Dr. Gilstrap just shared, our September and October facilities task force has been meeting. In the area of systematic safety and security processes, campus leaders have been trained in behavior threat assessment, and we got a new member of the police force, not only with our new officer, but our drug dog. Timo, sorry. I'll get him right. And so here's the data that's exciting about the percent of completed work orders. The maintenance department has completed 99.6% of the submitted work orders for the first quarter. So that concludes the first formative report. In January, I will provide the board with the next formative review, and then you'll receive the summative review in July. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
What are the apps, or how are they engaging with the website? Who's the apps that are being downloaded?
Do you want to tell me about that?
Well, the app we launched last year, and we're just keeping track of every month's downloads. And then as far as the website, we measure our engagement on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as the page views on the website, the FISD website.
But the app is the district's app that we get last year.
One of the things that I noticed about the data presented is we have goals, and then we have a baseline from last year, previous years, and then we have a goal. I don't know if you'll notice, and then we have where we are now, and in every one of those, I think it was almost every one of them, we were exceeding what our goal was for the year. Now, obviously, we're only a quarter of the way through the year, so we've got to continue that. But we are ahead of where our target was, and I felt like they were pretty reasonable targets. They're not over the top, but they're consistent and achievable targets that we're exceeding right now. So good.
On the college that we added, now we had Palo Alto and St. Philip's before, correct? How long have we been not having?
So we used to have Palo Alto doing our dual credit, but when COVID happened and we went to more online, because we don't have many instructors that have the credentials to be able to teach, and so we went with Coastal Bend. At that point in time when we went, which was 1920, there weren't that many colleges doing online. Now everybody's doing something online. So we still use Palo Alto and St. Philip's with our Alamo Academy, so we still have agreements with them for that, but we're trying to expand that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We will still need to have an agreement with Coastal Bend if this works out for next year, because of our seniors who are on track to get an associate's degree, because the last, I don't remember how many hours, have to be from the institution granting the degree, and if they were to transfer to Palo Alto or St. Philip's, they would not award a degree. So next year we may have multiple agreements, but that'd be all right. We just want to do what's best for our kids.
Okay, the more choices, the better for our students. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Dr. Wade will now also give a report on the 2024-25 calendar development.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Odom. Tonight I'm going to share with you the current status and a proposed plan for our development of our 2025, I can't even hardly say that, 2026 school calendar. Every year we begin the process of calendar development with meeting with our district leadership team and our district education improvement committee for input, and then I start researching all the options that other districts might have considered for calendars, and there's lots out there. In October, we developed draft calendars that we take to the calendar committee to review those drafts and provide input, and they met on October 3rd to do that. In addition, I share those drafts with our district leadership team for their input as well. Based on their input, we launched a staff-wide calendar survey that I'm going to share results with you in just a minute about the process. And then the calendar committee is scheduled to meet again tomorrow to continue the process. However, I want to pause just a minute in the calendar development to talk about our district's greatest resource and some of the challenges the board is well aware of, but just want to highlight that maybe an adjustment in our calendar could in part address. So, as research states, in almost every research article I've read, having a qualified, effective teacher is the greatest impact on student achievement, the greatest impact. And in addition, having an ineffective teacher can cause declines. So having and retaining the best teachers directly impacts student learning. So here are a few of the challenges I want to talk about, and I'm just going to list them and then I'll talk about them just in a little bit. And I'm aware the board is aware of these. I just want to talk about how they might have an impact with calendar. We are having some difficulty with recruiting and retaining qualified teachers, as well as having qualified applicants apply. We've had an increase in the number of teachers without the appropriate certifications. Now, they might have certifications, but not in the area that they're teaching. The board is very aware of the budget constraints that we are faced with, and the state continues to pass unfunded mandates that puts a strain on staff time. So let me just elaborate on each of these. The issue of a lack of qualified teachers is not just at Floresville Independent School District. According to the 2022 Texas Teacher Poll, 77% of teachers were considering leaving the profession that year. And we have seen a significant decrease in the number of applications for open positions. In fact, we have one open position right now that has been open since the beginning of the year that no one has applied for.
It's actually been open since April.
April, okay. Although we have staff that I've talked through over the years that recognize some of the intangibles about being at Floresville ISD, the culture, the climate, the sense of autonomy. I've had many teachers that have transferred into the district from other places and said, I feel so valued here. We are increasingly competing with other districts who are able to pay a higher salary. And for the first time, 2 years ago, our teacher turnover rate rose above the state level from 14% to 23%. In the area of teacher certifications, we've had an increase of the number of teachers without the appropriate certification. Many teachers are not going through the normal traditional channels of going to get a college degree in education, and we have great teachers who have an alternative certification. There's people in this room who have alternative certifications who are great teachers, so we're not knocking that. But the increase in new teachers and what we call our District of Innovation teachers, teachers who have a degree but they're not certified in the area, has significantly increased. And so what happens, that increases the amount of support that is needed for those staff. So I told you we revamped our new teacher academy to provide more support. It also puts a strain on the campus administration and additional teachers. We're trying to find mentors for all these people. And so it's just increasing the need that we have to support them when we don't have a way to increase that support other than with our current staff. I do want to point out that District of Innovation, put a graph there for you. We've seen a 43% increase in the number of what we call DOI teachers since 22-23 from 37 to 53. So that number continues to grow, which is a concern for us. Another area is budget constraints, and I know the board is very well of this. The state continues to underfund and inadequately fund us. The basic allotment for ADA has not changed since 2019. We are still receiving $6,160 per ADA. So it has not changed. The board is also aware last year you approved a $500,000 deficit budget, right? And then we had some unexpected budget impacts with the lack of SHARS funding. That's the Medicaid funding for our students receiving special education related services. And this year, we were only able to provide a 1% salary increase. If you add on to that, the health insurance increases for staff who take our health insurance, which is about 50%, that negated the salary raise. So, and then just like every other person or organization, we're experiencing inflationary cost, increases in supplies, increases in fuel for transportation. So all of these are limiting our ability to adequately recruit and retain staff. And lastly, and I'll try not to rant too much on this one, the state continues to add requirements while on the surface sound great, we agree with them, but without the financial resources, they are unfunded mandates. and really it is impacting public school. While we receive some funds to improve safety and security, it is nowhere near the amount needed for the requirements that we're being asked to implement. House Bill 1416, which was revamped with House Bill 4545, requires accelerated instruction for students who are not meeting the standard on state tests. We have always provided support for students who are not meeting the standard, but now we have all these reporting requirements and documentation requirements that are changed. House Bill 3928 significantly impacted our special education assessment staff when they were required to offer reassessment for every student who's receiving dyslexia services. That continues to be a load on our assessment staff. We are also involved in training staff on behavior threat assessments, which is a good process, but just takes time for our staff. Again, all things that we don't deny are good, it's just an increased workload for current staff without funds to increase staff. I want to go back to that 2022 Charles Butt Texas Teacher Poll. So again, this is 2022, so this was a couple of years ago, but I think the information is still relevant. They surveyed, oh goodness, I can't remember, thousands of, I'm trying to remember if I have in my notes how many, I want to say it was 6,000 teachers, about what would keep them working in a school district. And so positive work culture and climate, which I feel like we have, was number one. They also said a significant salary increase, and when they said significant, I don't want you to fall down when I tell you this number. 30% is what they're looking for, is the increase. Autonomy as a classroom leader. I just shared that I've had teachers talk to me about the fact that we have that here. And then the rest of the list is there, but I do want to point out just the ones that are 85 and higher. District days off for teachers and students for well-being. We started implementing with the calendar, I think last year, about 5 extra days throughout the year that teachers are off without students, just trying to once a month to give them a breather. And then there are 6 days that they don't have students, but they're working. So it's another kind of a breath. So there's 12 days we've tried to implement in the last couple of years. But you can see that is something that's significant for them, having time off. So with that being said, I'm going to return back to our calendar committee process. So I asked the calendar committee a survey asking them what the top priority is for the district in developing the calendar. I do this every year, and I had some surprising results this year. So here's what I got. 50% of them said a 4-day school week. Last year, that was 11%. So I had to kind of take notice because last year we went through this process. I said, do we want to look at a 4-day calendar? And they said, we're not ready for that. We're not ready for that, but we want you to bring it back to us. Like, okay. Last year's priority, just in case you wanted to know, was that we needed to start school in August and get out before Memorial Day. That was the priority. So with this kind of shift, then I had to take some, okay, you think that's a priority, so let me do some research. So I went back to the district leadership team and the calendar committee and just asked them, should we consider a 4-day week? And here's the results I got. 100% of our district leadership said, yes, we should consider it. That's not saying we're doing it. Should we consider it? And 80% of the committee. Again, that was 11% last year. I want to go back and just ground us in our strategic plan. We have goals about excellent student outcomes and superior workplace environment. We want to be innovative and ensure students are achieving, as well as our family and our staff are engaged and satisfied, which is why we ask for input on lots of topics. Case in point. And I've got another survey result I'm going to share with you in a minute. But let me just help us all kind of understand this topic about 4-day school week and just talk about the history. All the way back in 1936, I can find evidence in South Dakota of a 4-day school week. That's I don't think there was a lot going on, but that's the first instance I found. Then in 1973, with the energy crisis, there were many more schools implementing a 4-day week to try to save cost for energy. It really didn't stick as much, but there was more prevalent in the 70s. Then more recently, in 22-23, across the United States, 25 states had at least one school district using a 4-day school calendar. And in Texas, 41 school districts were implementing at that time. Then coming to this school year, we have a total of 109 Texas school districts implementing a 4-day school week, with about 20 school districts having a hybrid or modified schedule. So this is from 2018. This is the most recent map I could find, but you can see the states that are in green have more than 20% of their districts with a 4-day school week. And so New Mexico, Colorado, South Dakota, Idaho, South Dakota being the first one in 1936. I guess they stuck with it. And then you can see Texas has less than 2% in 2018, but you can see most of it is middle of the country and on the west part of the country, not much up in the northeast or on the eastern seaboard. For Texas, this is a very recent map as of October, and the school districts that are highlighted in orange are in a traditional 4-day week. The ones that are highlighted in blue are what's called a hybrid, and I'll talk to you a little bit about what that might look like. Hybrid could be anything that's not traditional 5 days a week. And then I just want to mention that in San Antonio, we have had 4 districts move to a 4-day school week. In 23-24, Natalia, Utopia, and Lavernia, and then last year, Bandera moved to a 4-day school week. So when I talk about hybrid, there are some districts, and I will say Lavernia is a traditional 4-day. They are off every Friday. Now, staff come in maybe one Friday a month, I think, something like that for professional development, but students are off every Friday. There are lots of ways to develop a non-traditional calendar. I call it a 4-day, it might not be a 4-day. It could be 1 day off a week for students. It could be the Friday, it could be a Monday. We've seen a lot of that. A modified schedule or a hybrid might be 1 day off a week, after the first 2 months of school. I've seen several, especially some larger districts, that the students come every day in August and September, and then they start going to a 4-day week. And then in January, when they come back, they come all 5 days through the middle of February, and then they start a 4-day. So it just depends. There's also many districts that have one of those Fridays a month for professional learning for staff. So just as you recall, the last 2 years, this year and last year, we implemented an extra planning period for our core teachers so that they had extra time in the day. Well, if we go to this, we're not going to have that opportunity, but we still want to value their collaborative time, so we want to give them a full day to do that. And then I've seen districts that have had specific days for student intervention. The students are typically off on this Friday, but we're going to ask students to come in to do intervention if needed. So there are several districts that do that. So when you talk about a 4-day or a hybrid or a modified schedule, it can look lots of ways. It just depends on what districts want to do. I also want to state that while the beginning of the 4-day week began with smaller rural districts, we have seen an increase in mid-sized districts switching to this schedule. So here's just a list, I think it's 5 that I just found this weekend, of districts that are our size or are a little bit larger that have switched. I also wanted to point out these first 2 switched in 21-22. The latest accountability rating we have is 2022. If you recall, we didn't get a rating last year, and we didn't get a rating the year before. So it's hard for me to say the impact on student achievement. I will say all the districts that we've talked to or have researched have said there's not really, the verdict's basically out, but they've not seen a drastic impact on student achievement. No one has. There are a few districts that saw a little bit of a decline, but it wasn't significant. But just wanted to note, here's a district with China Spring with almost 3,000. Terrell ISD moved last year as well as China Spring, and Crosby ISD is the largest district in Texas, and they have what I call a hybrid schedule, which I talked about the beginning in August and September, like they go for 5 days and then they switch to a 4-day. And then in January, February, they're 5 days and then they switch. So even though it's not a traditional 4-day, they have a hybrid schedule. So, with all that said, we launched a survey to all staff. So the staff we had 382 responses and a good cross-section of not only just the campuses, but also the departments across the district. So other responses, I asked, does a 4-day instructional week interest you? Overwhelmingly, 82% said yes, with 12% saying maybe, and 5.8% saying no. I then asked, what would be some benefits or advantages to a 4-day week? 71% of them said all of those things would be of benefit. Increasing staff morale, increasing retention, improving student attendance, easier to recruit staff, and positive student outcomes. I did have 6% of staff said they don't think there's any advantage. So, if we're going to pursue a different type of calendar, 4-day, modified, something different, we would have to plan to host community meetings and plan to do that in December, around December the 5th. We would also need to launch a survey to our community as well. Then in January, we would host a second community meeting and at that point release a frequently asked questions or FAQ document about any questions. Again, there are 109 districts who have done this. Everybody has faced the same questions. We would come up with what our answers are and how we would respond to those. And then in February, we would ask the board for possible board action on some type of different type calendar with whatever parameters you would like for us to implement, and then come to the board in March with a proposed calendar for consideration. That's where we are. What questions or comments do you have?
Dr. Wade, what's the advantage in your opinion, and maybe the committee's opinion, about a hybrid schedule? I know that's been talked about, but what's the advantage of going August, September, and then January, February? Is that just getting more, the hours in that we need for each year?
That's a great point, Dr. Odom. We are required to have 75,600 minutes, and if you limit yourself to just 4 days a week, those days have to be rather long. And so I made a calendar with just 4 days, and it's tight, right? We might have to go after Memorial Day, for example. Yes. But the benefit of having a hybrid schedule is that summer slide, and Ms. Martinez can talk about that too, the summer slide of kids not being in school, I mean, you need to kind of catch them up, like get going. And the same thing after Christmas break. It's just an opportunity. We do lots of screening with students, assessments at the beginning of the year, and so it gives us an opportunity to get all that done, as well as where are the kids, what we need to do. So, and as well as maybe have a shorter day.
Well, certainly August and September are good months as far as attendance. You know, we first start school, and so those are good months. And so, yeah, I really like the idea, you know, of a hybrid schedule, just because the days aren't as long as you would if you had a 4-day. So I assume that Lavernia, for example, has longer days.
495 minutes, I believe, is what they go. And I think our high school's 480, 485, yeah. Which is the longest.
25 minutes more than what we're going now.
Yeah.
And I mean, our kids right now got 28 extra days in high school and 14 in middle school, and we need to cut that back. So there's no reason for us to have that kind of hours banked on those kids.
The issue is our elementary schools, and actually this campus, early childhood campus, is just barely squeaking by with the number of required minutes. So if there was a closure district-wide, we would be hard-pressed to have to make up time.
That will concern me with the elementary, the little kids going that long. So that's what I know the research, talking to Laverne and other schools, how the little ones are doing. Staying attentive that long. Yeah. That's a huge concern.
Because some of those younger kids, they come home whipped. That's what it's too long. I mean, they don't give naps anymore in kinder.
Looks like you had more staff involved this time, like on responding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, had a lot of staff. Immediate response.
Yeah.
Within minutes.
I think within an hour we had over 100 responses to the survey.
I was just
I wasn't
thinking-
anticipating that. And I don't know, I think I just left it open for 5 days, so it's like, wow.
But that's just staff. We haven't asked any community,
No,
no
sir.
parents, no anybody yet. So that's what's
Right.
going to be very interesting to see what
Yes,
the parents
so
will
that's,
say.
that's what I said. That's why I had this in yellow.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go this route, our next step would be to get community input. Absolutely.
I know Lavernia had trouble with getting babysitters for their kids on the Friday, working mothers. And we have a lot more students than they do. That's what people have come up to me and said. I can't, if they're affording it and then going. And then with Lavernia, a lot of times, like, they have Monday off for the parents and the kids don't on their holidays that they normally. And that, I know upset them. But that's only because I know people, family.
That would be something we would have to address. I will tell you, the districts we talk to, that, I mean, that's the number one concern. What do you do about childcare, right? But they've all figured out some type of solution, and we would have to come up with a solution to
If they're very small, they could be.
I guess we got to look at the savings too of like bus routes. 'Cause I know we're going away from the 5x5 back to a block. If we're going to have a single bus route and then we go to 4 days, that's even less what the savings might be. And then, just the cost to run of the operational, taking 4 days instead of 5.
And bus drivers have the biggest impact as far as payroll cost. And one thing I will say is, one thing we would do is everyone would make as much, if, obviously if we're able to do a raise, no one would take a pay cut from going to 4-day week. Paraprofessionals, hourly people, teachers, we would not do this. We'd have to make adjustments. But one of the things that has come up and with the child care issue, a lot of those districts offered some type of either in conjunction or partnership with the YMCA or Boys and Girls Club. We have Right at School that we offered with. We did just reach out to them just to see would it even be possible. They said yes, they've done that in other districts. They can work that out. We even talked about the district picking up the cost. I know one thing in Lavernia, they set aside money in their budget to pick up the cost for that. Now that cost may offset any savings with transportation. But ultimately, one of the things, whenever I talk to those superintendents and those HR departments, they have multiple applicants coming in for open positions. We are not. So yes, I understand we may have questions to answer, and I'm not saying we do it or don't do it. That is not what I'm saying. But also don't forget, one of the best things for a student learning is a highly qualified teacher doing their job in front of them. And if you don't have that, that's an issue. And so our recruiting, our lack of ability for recruiting right now, and if the state comes in and provides extra funding and says, okay, all the teachers are going to get a $10,000 raise, well, guess what every other school district around us is going to do? We're still in the same boat. We still aren't to that competitive edge to get and recruit people. So a hybrid model does open up a lot of opportunities. You don't have to go as long during the day. It wouldn't cost us as much if we provided childcare, so it would be less of an impact on the budget. So there are a lot of different ways out there to do this.
So with that too, also the certifications, some teachers say don't completely have or don't have their complete certifications. We don't want to push them away because we do need them, but if we go to something like this, we need to kind of.
So one of the things that we were talking about is, how can we encourage those people to get their certification? And I don't want to say 100% of them, but a large percentage of them are in programs. But get that certification so we can keep you here. Right. If not, well, then we have an opportunity to go out and actively recruit for a certified teacher.
We might be getting more people applying.
We get more people, more
That
applicants.
actually has a certification, so.
Correct. And come to us with experience. It's not just new teachers coming in, it's teachers with experience that are, hey, you know what, I'm interested in that type of calendar. I'll come from Somerset ISD or East Central or Pleasanton or wherever and say, I'll come over here and try it out.
Because right now, I know we have teachers that, hey, we've given them a lot of opportunity, a lot of time, and it still hasn't gotten done. We don't want to run them off, so. I think we need that.
We've got to balance that.
Right.
And and this is something that, again, could be a budget, minimal impact on the budget, if not budget neutral, that would be a benefit to our ability to recruit and retain staff.
Yeah, districts have said it's not a cost savings initiative. It's really
It's
about,
not a cost-saving initiative.
Attracting
Don't try
and
to do
retaining.
this. Yeah.
it's
Right.
about.
Don't
the
do this to
recruitment.
save your budget.
Yes, this
There
is
may be a little
about
bit of savings,
staff.
but it's not gonna be a.
Yeah, but it's budget neutral. Like, you might have some savings here, but you might spend something here, but it's pretty much budget neutral.
Over 80% of our budget is in personnel, and we've agreed we're not gonna reduce anybody's salary, so 80% of our budget doesn't change, so it's.
And then if we go to the 4-week calendar, and the pay scale stays the same, you go back to a 5-week,
Well,
then
that'd be a
it's
tough
gonna
bridge
be
to
a-
cross.
right?
Correct.
Something else.
Salary, I mean.
That's
it's
why we
like
have
your
room.
salary, you gotta have so many hours, so many minutes during each day or each week.
Yeah.
And that's one thing in talking to some teachers in other districts that have gone to the 4-day week, the same expectations are still in place. You still have to get your lessons prepared, you still have to get papers graded, you still have to get your room ready before the first day of school. You still have to do all these things. It's just now you may not be doing them on the clock or on a work day. You're still getting done. Ones I've talked to said, I don't just sit around all day on Friday and do nothing. I'm up, I'm doing something, whether it's superintendents in the office doing something, staff working from home, but they're working in a less stressful environment.
Work-life balance,
Correct.
basically.
I can get up at 9 o'clock, or I can get up early, eat breakfast with my kids, and not start grading papers until 9:30 and do it till lunch, and I'm done. So
Although-
it's a balance.
Well, they could be on a cart going somewhere doing it.
The Friday that they have PD doesn't necessarily mean it's PD all day, right? Part of that could be a teacher workday.
So professional learning communities is learning in the middle. So if you get together and collaborate following our professional learning community process, that's PD. So if they're
So it could
learning,
be
and-
Planning time.
Could be
and all
planning.
that.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
And to
As
go
long
back
as-
to that, like a 40-hour work week, it could be 4 10s or 5 8s. You know, there's CPS, a lot of people, they do that. So you change a position one time, you know, 1 week or 1 year, you're working 4 days a week. And then you take a different position, you gotta go back to a 5-day week. But it's a salary position, you're making the same money. But they know they're gonna have to be there an extra day, but they're only working 8 hours. So if we ever transition back, you're still a salary position, if that makes sense. But you have to be open and upfront with them early on. If we have to transition back,
Right.
same money, we just gotta.
It just could be a tough pill to swallow.
It might
Yeah.
be, but
It would
so, I mean, we're doing that with the 5x5 and all
We
that,
are.
so we're trying.
Sometimes you have to evaluate it after trying it, and if you need to shift away, you gotta be able to make that decision, shift away. You know, the calendar we have now, I believe it was 13 or 14 weeks that are partial weeks. Whenever I say partial, it's less than 5 days. Could be 3 days, could be 4 days, but right now we've got about 14. If you go to a hybrid model, you could be taking that 14 short weeks and extending that to about 22, 21. So we're not, you know, if you do the hybrid. Now, if you go full tilt, it's a lot more than that. So it's not as drastic of an impact as you think. Because like I said, right now for our students, they already have 14 partial weeks.
We're almost there.
We're well on our way, past halfway.
But if we go to a true 4-day, we really have to look at not only the length of the day, but also those riding the bus. What is a total day for that student? By the time they get on the bus.
Especially if you start combining routes
Yeah.
and things like that, to where you've
Ones
got,
on the belt in the country.
unless they're way out there. So, looking at the timeline that Dr. Wade talked about, one of the things we would try to do, or we would like for the board to do, is in February, typically we adopt our calendar in February. We may be coming to the board and just saying, okay, what do you think about the 4-day? And then maybe adopt some parameters and say, okay, we're gonna we're giving you a directive, develop a 4-day calendar with these parameters. No more than this many minutes in a day. Get school out before, June, or whatever parameters that you all may come up with. And then we can come back in March and have the detailed calendar. But just getting over that hurdle in February of, we're gonna do a 4-day or not.
Or hybrid.
Or hybrid.
Right.
And whenever I say that, it could be a hybrid. As Dr. Wade said, this is going to require some community input, whether it's surveys as well as community meetings to get their feedback and questions so we can start. As I said, every district that's done this has had to answer these questions. We just got to come up with our answers if we're going to pursue it. So it sounds like the board may be interested in pursuing that, at least getting community input.
I agree.
Not that we're voting, we're not doing anything this evening, but just, it seems like the consensus would be, yes, let's go out and talk to the community about it. I encourage you as board members to talk to your neighbors and
We need to learn more about it.
get their feedback.
On your graph showed 82% thought it would be better.
Of staff,
Staff.
Pretty drastic.
of staff.
That's big.
That's huge. That is huge. And like I said, of the committee, it didn't even get out of committee last year because I only had 11% were interested in. That's not enough for me to take any action. So this is the first time it's come out of the committee because I had half the committee saying that.
Yeah.
So I have to respond to the input, right? I asked for the input. I've got to respond to that. Okay.
All right.
Any other
Expecting
questions?
some public meetings for
Yeah.
December and January.
Oh, Lord.
Or maybe that small, the percentage that said no, the 5.8, maybe try to really understand why they think it doesn't work.
And I do know it may have come from certain staff in certain departments that may not understand the implication of pay for them. It may be paraprofessionals that are concerned about cutting pay. So we'll have to clarify some of those things also. All right. Thank you so much for your input. Appreciate it.
We will now have a public hearing on the financial integrity rating system of Texas for the 23-24 school year, presented by Ms. Engel.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, members of the board. I am here this evening because we are annually required to hold a public hearing on the financial integrity rating system of Texas, or the first rating, again, every year. So this year, this is our 23-24 rating. It's based on fiscal year 23. Title 19 of the Texas Administrative Code is where we get our ruling to conduct the first and to authorize the first. So what is School First? It encourages public schools to better manage their financial resources, ensures that Texas public schools are held accountable for the quality of their financial management practices, and creates transparency and discloses the quality of local management and decision-making processes. TEA uses the following data sources to calculate the School First indicators. They use the annual financial report, or the AFR, the financial data feed, the TSDS PEM system, the Foundation School Program data, and other sources, including but not limited to the IRS, the TRS, and the Texas Workforce Commission. It's an annual rating based on an analysis of the FISD's financial data for fiscal year 23. So we're looking back July 1st, 22 through June 30th of 2023. So again, the data this rating is based on is about a year and a half old. The preliminary ratings came out on August the 8th. We had the opportunity to appeal our rating in writing by September the 9th. You have a month to do that. And if there is no appeal, then your preliminary rating becomes final on September the 10th. The rating system is just like most other rating systems. A 90 through 100 is an A. You see there 80 to 89 is a B. 60 to 79 is a C. And substandard is an F if you get less than 60, or a no on any of the critical indicators. So this is based on 21 indicators. Indicator 1 is a critical indicator. It's our timely submission of our AFR, or our audit. So our audit is due to TEA within 30 days of November 27th if you're a July 1st start date, which is what we are, or January 27th if you're September 1st. So there you can see that they received ours on October the 17th. It was due by December 27th, so we get the full yes on that indicator. Indicator 2 is auditor opinion. Was there an unmodified opinion on the AFR for the financial statements as a whole? Our answer was yes, so we get that critical indicator as well. Monetary default on debt. Was the school district in compliance with payment terms on all debt agreements at the end of the fiscal year? Answer was yes. Again, another critical indicator. And indicator 4 is the last critical indicator, timely payments to government entities. Did the school district make timely payments to TRS, TWC, IRS, and other governmental agencies? Answer was yes. So again, we get that critical indicator. Now switching to the other indicators that are mostly, you're either going to pass the ceiling or you're going to get a numerical number. So this one was indicator 5, total unrestricted net position balance. Was the total net position in the governmental activities column in the statement of net position greater than 0? Ours was, so therefore we passed that. Indicator 6, quick decrease in fund balance. Was the average change in unassigned and assigned fund balance over 3 years less than 25% decrease, or did the school current year's assigned and unassigned fund balance exceed 75 days? We did not decrease in fund balance over the last 3 years, so therefore we passed that indicator as well. Indicator 7, number of days cash on hand. This is looking at to see how liquid you are. Was the number of days of cash on hand and current investments in general fund for the school district sufficient to cover the operating expenditures? There's a sliding scale. You can see our mathematical breakdown was 93.581 days. So anything greater than 90, you get the 10 points. Therefore, the district received the 10 points there. Indicator number 8, current assets to current liabilities. Again, it's based on a formula. The mathematical breakdown there was a 3.3219. Anything greater than a 3, you get the full 10 points. Therefore, we receive the full 10 points. Indicator 9, general fund revenues equal or exceed expenditures. Basically, did we dip into fund balance? And if we, if it was not, were we equal to or greater than 60 days cash on hand? You can see our mathematical breakdown, 0.0084 is greater than 0, or 93 is greater than 60. So therefore, our revenues were greater than our expenditures. We received the full 10 points on that indicator as well. Indicator 10 has not been rated since COVID. That one, they've just marked it out. So therefore, on that rating, they're not evaluating, but we do get the full 10 points on that one. Indicator 11, long-term liabilities to total asset ratio. Again, it's another mathematical breakdown there. 0.4564, less than or equal to 1. If we're less than or equal to 0.6, we get the full 10 points. Therefore, we got the full 10 points. Indicator 12, debt principal and interest payments. Was a correlation between future debt requirements and the district's assessed property value. Mathematical point there, 2.2256. Less than or equal to 4, you get the 10 points. Administrative cost ratio. This one is looking to see if you're top heavy, basically, in your district. Again, it's based on a sliding scale, based on your ADA. We were at 0.086. For our size district, anything less than or equal to 0.1151 is going to get you the full 10 points. Therefore, we received the full 10 points. Student to staff ratio. Did the school district not have a 15% decline in the students to staff ratio over the last 3 years? We did not. And our student enrollment did not decrease, so therefore we got the full yes on this indicator. 15, again, is another one that has not been rated since COVID. We get the full 5 points on here because they don't rate it. So, indicator 16, PEIMS to AFR comparison. So what goes into PEIMS, what we enter in and the district accepts as PEIMS, does that match our audit? Or is it within 3%? It was, so we passed the ceiling on this one as well. Indicator 17, material weaknesses. Did the independent auditor report any material weaknesses in your audit? There was none noted. Therefore, we passed this indicator. Indicator 18, material noncompliance. Was there any noncompliance in the audit based on auditor observations? There was no material noncompliance. Therefore, we get the full 10 points. Required postings. Did the school district post the required financial information on its websites? Yes, we did. Therefore, we get the full 5 points on this one. I'm almost finished, I promise. There's 21. Indicator 20, board discussion on property values. Did the board members discuss the property values within 120 days of the district adopting its process? Yes, we did. Therefore, we passed this indicator. And indicator 21, adjusted repayment schedule. Did the district need to have an adjusted payment schedule for FSP funds if we had to pay money back due to financial hardship? We did not have to pay any money back. Therefore, we did not need a adjusted repayment schedule, and we passed this indicator. So if you look at the indicators 1 through 21, there with the passing indicators and the ratings, we received a perfect score. So this is the second year in a row we've received a perfect 100, so I'm very proud of that. The other things that are required, there are 6 required disclosures in this report as well. Those being the superintendent's current employment contract is online, a summary schedule of fiscal year of total reimbursements received by the superintendent and each board member, a summary schedule for the fiscal year for the dollar amount of compensation and or fees received by the superintendent from another school district or any other outside entity in exchange for professional consulting or other personal services, Summary schedule for the fiscal year for the total dollar amount by the executive officers and board members of gifts that had economic value of $250 or more in the aggregate. A summary schedule of the fiscal year for the dollar amount by board members for the aggregate amount of business transactions with the school district, and any additional information that the school board or trustees deems useful. So, and we have to hold the public hearing within 2 months of the rating, which is what we're doing tonight. So, superintendent's current employment contract can be found here on our website. If you follow About Us, required postings, Operations Finance 2024-2025, and there you can find the 24 through 27 superintendent contract. Total reimbursements received by the superintendent and each board member for the last 12 years ending, 12 months, sorry, ending June 30th, 2024. You can see that breakdown there. Any compensation or fees received by the superintendent from another school district or other outside entity, there were none. Any gifts received by board members or executive officers of $250 or more in the aggregate, there were none. Total amount of board members for the aggregate amount of business transactions with the school district, there were none. And if anybody has any questions, it is a public hearing, so it is open to all people in attendance to ask questions if you have any.
Can we go back 3 slides?
Sure.
One more. Is this posted online?
It will be. Anybody have any other questions?
Ms. Engel, thank you very much for your hard work in your department. It's not easy, it's a great accomplishment, so thank you for your dedication to getting it done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is item number 6, action items. First action item is the consent agenda.
Board members, consent agenda is typical as usual. We do not have anything to add to it. There's no questions. If there are no questions, administration recommends the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a recommendation, a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Accept the administration's recommendation.
Okay, do we have a second? Ms. Reed? Okay. All right, any further questions or discussion? Okay, let it be known if you agree with the accepting the administration recommendation, let it be known by raising your hand. Anyone opposes? Motion carries 7-0. We will now consider approval of local policy update, FNCE, personal telecommunications and electronic devices by Dr. Gilstrap.
Board members, included in the packet are the documents for policy FNCE local. The board policy committee previously met with the senior cabinet to review this update. The policy update addresses concerns regarding the use of devices capable of being remotely activated to provide one-on-one and/or two-way communications. This creates a right of privacy concern under FERPA for students and staff. On the advice of our attorney, we're recommending approval of the presented policy change. The policy change does have no strikeouts, it's just the additions in blue. All right, if there's not any questions, administration recommends the board approve the update to policy FNCE local as presented.
All right, do we have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation?
I make a motion to accept the administration's recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Shawbrock, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Craig? All right, any further questions or discussion? There are none. If you agree with the administration recommendation, it'll be done by raising your right hand, or whichever hand, it doesn't matter, right, left, here. Let's do this. And, all right, very good, 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The board will now convene an executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, personnel at 8:03 p.m. No voting will take place in the closed session. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussion in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. That's right. We will now reconvene in open session at 9:14 p.m. We have now concluded our agenda for this meeting. Is there any further business? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 9:14 p.m.
All right. Thank you all very much, board members.